What's up, everybody? Normal TV Nerd. We're back for a random impromptu podcast, as normal, actually.
That sounds
And then
normal to me.
we have the great, awesome Cinepresto here with us. And for the first time on the Normal TV Nerd Random Podcast, hopefully an okay editor, 357, aka Noah, is here. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Code Geass because I am rewatching it right now for the
Yay.
5 years.
And there is a new Code Geass project that will be announced December 5th. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can follow me on my channel, Cinepresto. I'm going to be streaming it on Twitch and trying to translate live what they're saying to the best of my ability with my limited Japanese knowledge, but I'll do my best. I did a little bit of that after the fact for Steins Gate, but yeah, it should be fun.
You could try and troll everyone in a live stream and like make up an announcement that
You
doesn't
guys, you guys
exist,
are
like it's a
joining me
new
for that, by
project.
the way, aren't you? You guys are joining me for that. It's gonna be like 6 a.m. your time, so
I mean, I've gotten up earlier. I
have
just wasn't
fun.
happy about
Have fun. It's actually not too bad because you guys are on the East Coast, but for me, it's gonna be suffering. It's like a Saturday
it.
morning. Anyways, let's talk a
Yikes.
little bit about Code Geass, right?
Sounds good.
So, how old were you guys when you
Right.
guys first watched Code Geass? Because I remember exactly how old I was and where I was.
I was probably 19, 20.
Then
Yeah,
Noah.
I'll go. I got into it like pretty late. Like I didn't watch it when it was like new, when it was like the big thing. Like actually, I remember I finished it last spring break. So I'm 20 now. I was 19 when I started Code DS, and I'm only
Yeesh.
20 now. So
Yeesh. Okay, so yeah, I watched Code Geass when I was like 13 in 2008. I think it had been just a year old, and my sister and I,
Okay.
like, she showed me the show. She was watching a lot of anime at the time, actually. So we were traveling. I ended up watching the show with her, and I thought the writing was really smart and super cool. Actually, I thought everything about the show was really awesome. And
did it
then
have an English? Oh, sorry.
yeah, the English dub was, I think, concurrently coming out, but I think it stopped at a certain point, so I actually had to watch some of the subtitled episodes too at the same
Mhm.
time. But I've come
All
to
right.
appreciate both the voice actor, like, sets of voice actors. Like, the English dub
Okay.
is one of the best for sure. It's up there with like your Cowboy Bebops in my opinion. It's also by Sunrise, so yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny
it's pretty.
Bosch, my boy.
Yeah, and then Yuri Lowenthal Spider Man. So it's like you get a choice. If you listen to the show in English, then you get the Black Ranger versus Spider Man, and if you listen to it in Spider Man slash Sasuke, if you listen to it in Japanese, you get Cloud versus Joker. So
Either
I
way,
mean, I'm
crossovers.
now. I'm doing Japanese. I just did the version when I first watched through, so I'm doing the Japanese watch through. This.
I need to rewatch it in Japanese, honestly. So
Same, honestly, I only watched it through the English dub, but I've heard clips of like Lelouch's laugh in Japanese, and it's freaking great. Like, it sounds like both of the casts really killed it.
so since this is Ashanti's rewatch time, can you tell us which part of the story you're on and if you're noticing anything around this watch through?
So I am halfway through episode 16 right now.
Wow.
Um, after he's dealing with the consequences of like Shirley F.
Oh, so if
So
this wasn't clear before, there's spoilers in this episode. So
We'll
I
post
mean,
a
no,
warning or something at the beginning.
go ahead, Ashanti.
but yeah, we're dealing with like the repercussions of that and um how he's dealing with the fact like yeah, some people are going to have to die, and I knew that, but it's getting kind of close to home now. But I'm still going to kill people.
Oh yeah, gotta do it. You gotta do it to them. Sucks when you
Yeah.
people you know though.
So,
Yeah.
like, in terms of the chronology, this is something I guess I'm more familiar with is that they did the original series, right?
Okay.
And halfway through, oh yeah, because there's R1 and R2, right? So
Mhm.
R1, they finished the first season. They had all these plans set up. They had a lot of loose plot points that were set up, like why is Suzaku connected to C2 somehow?
Mhm.
Um, there's like some little bit where I think the girl who works with Suzaku is attracted to him and everything. And all these plot points are dropped because what happened is that in Japan they changed the airtime, right? So R2's
Oh,
beginning
really?
largely resets a lot of the plot points simply because like they didn't have the same core audience, and out of fear that they would confuse people, they ended up changing the story quite a bit. So if you watch R1 again, and then
Dang.
with that
Uh,
knowledge in mind, you can like start figuring out where all the plot points got shifted, right? But anyways, I think what happens is after that is that 2012 they got Akito the Exile. That thing takes like 3 or 4 years to release, if I believe correctly. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like an episode a year.
it was a year and a half, I think, per
Oh, really?
per
Yeah.
yeah hour long episode. It was long and there's a lot of CGI. It felt like the Star Wars prequels, and like they just kind of shoved in a bunch of effects everywhere to try to impress people. And
Yeah.
then you got all the build up to Lelouch the Resurrection. I almost said Resurrection F from Dragon Ball, but
I say rest
yeah,
F.
yeah, almost did. But I didn't, and I caught myself. So you better delete this. uh, and then yeah, they finally make it to Lelouch the Resurrection after like 3 recap films, and then they're like, okay, we got 10 more years of stuff, and then another year and a half passes, and we're finally gonna get the news in like 2 weeks. So
I know, I've
Nice.
been dying for news since it's been announced because like
yeah,
they announced around when it came out. They're like, yeah, we got 10 years of content or whatever planned, and then just like
yeah,
ever since Illusion of the Resurrection release, it's just been radio silence.
yep. So, yeah, and Ashanti, you got to catch up on Akito the Exiled, and then you got to watch Lelouch the Resurrection eventually. So, you got your
I
work
mean,
cut out for
I work from home, so I always just have it on in the background.
you.
There
There
you
you go.
go.
Yeah.
Might have to do the English dub for that though. It's a little hard to have anime with subtitles on in the background.
It's been done before.
True, yeah, by better people than me.
I guess I'm better than you.
It's pretty crazy to me though. I never knew that about the whole like season two, like taking like a huge like shift in story because of like the core audience shift and like something like that. And it's pretty amazing that they were able to pull something like that off and still make and conclude an amazing story from that point.
Right.
Like it feels in keeping with the series. Like I can almost see now, like I can imagine like it makes sense, but like while watching it, it felt like it fit the story and like everything was still going along kind of like planned. So I don't remember the whole Suzaku had someone who was attracted to him though. I Does she have a name or was
It's
she just kind of like a nameless?
Cecile. I think it's Cecile. It's his assistant character,
Oh wait, is
right?
that like
It
the
was after, yeah,
blue?
yeah, because after he's
Oh,
injured, right, and then she has moments with him, and they never expand on that, I believe.
right.
Is she like that
Um,
crazy scientist
Like,
guy?
right.
Oh yeah, Colin's character has more depth in season one than in season two. So Colin is like all the focus is taken away from her compared to season one because they had a plan. Remember that it's like there's the episode where she kind of goes like, oh yeah, it just shows like what her life is like living in Britannia, or like because she's half Britannian, right? Like so she has this
Right.
whole episode like they go over why she does everything like because of her brother. And I think the plot point was they were going to reveal that her brother was alive. Like there was that
Oh,
setup, yeah. So there was a setup for that. So he would have come back in season two originally. Was one of the rumored plot points. So
damn, that would make sense, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, because they like spent a whole episode on it, and then it just never went anywhere. Colin's just kind of like, how does
She vibing.
Lelouch feel about me? The rest of
Yeah.
the show.
I mean, we're all wondering that, really. Like, I want to know what Lelouch feels about me. Probably nothing great, but
People need to know.
yeah. But yeah, I almost want to see like if 10 years, 20 years down the line, when they've like run down all the Code Geass content and they've made 3 sequel trilogies by Disney. I'd love to see like maybe like if they could like get some of those original ideas and make like maybe like an alternate timeline like film, just like a what if for fun scenario, like
They
to
all
like see like maybe how some.
yeah, I think they could, but like because they are like the new films are not the original continuity, Ashanti. They're the film's continuity, right? So that means that they get their cake and they eat it too, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So that means that the original show has its own ending, right? And then you watch the recap films, and there's like slight changes here and there, and that's pretty much it. So then,
I was honestly bored for most of the recap films. Not gonna lie.
yeah, because I mean, recap films are always paced worse in my opinion, because like they're not really made; they're just made for the extra buck in Japan, really, to be
It's like a
completely
clip show, a
yeah.
fancy clip show with some
They
additional
basically
content.
yeah, except the full thing, and then they're trying to repackage and resell it, so it's like more egregious. So
Yep. But I still bought the Blu-ray because I'm a sucker.
Yep,
well,
I'll just watch these next year once I forget all about Code Geass.
yeah,
There
and
you
then
go.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention too. There's also audio and picture dramas, which you guys, if you guys have seen my channel, you know I'm a sucker for audio and picture dramas of anything. So you can like, there's all
Recommend Code Geass to me. You told me like which audio dramas to listen to in between which episodes, and that really helped.
yeah, no, it really completes the experience, honestly. If you and the fact that they dubbed most of them too is still hilarious. Some of them aren't dubbed, but most of them, and most
Already,
of the story ones are dubbed. The fan servicey ones in Japanese are not dubbed. So yeah,
And that's what we all come to Code Geass for. So I mean, what's even the point anymore, really?
yeah, honestly. So
yeah.
have you seen
Send
the
me
Code
also
Geass
like the dub
subreddit?
ones on YouTube.
What
Yeah.
was
Are
that,
like
Noah?
are the dubbed ones on YouTube? Because I think that's really dope that they like actually like with the English cast dub them because you don't see that much anymore.
Yeah. Some of them are still up there, I think. I don't know if the whole playlist is there, but I showed my best friend this show in like 2015, I'd like to say. Yeah. I showed it all to him then, and then we like watched, we like hung out and we like listened to all these, or just hanging out and stuff. It was chill. So
Nice.
yeah, and then Noah, you were bringing up before, like you had a question about how the Geass worked or whatever, right? Like it was supposed to only affect things in the mind. I think you were bringing up, right?
Yeah, so and I'll say it as vague as I can, so that way, like Ashanti, who hasn't seen, Keto the Exiled or Lelouch of the Resurrection, like won't give to anything too away. But I was always under the impression that like Gias was more like you were saying, like more of a like affects the mental state of who you're using on. Like Lelouch can make anyone do whatever he wants. Like later on, there's the guy who can make people think time has stopped. Like there's never been like I'm changing reality or the order of the universe. But then like in Akito the
Hmm.
Exile towards the ending, there's more of that stuff going on, and especially in Lelouch of the Resurrection. And like the abilities are cool, but like I kind of miss because it adds like an element of strategy to it
Yeah,
all.
there's
Like
like a
you're not just
limitation. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes it
you're not getting
cool.
like a
Yeah.
god pass,
Yeah, so
you
like
know?
I think naturally the series gets compared a lot to Death Note simply because of the rules and the tactical play that's usually going on within these episodes. To
Mhm.
me, I've always felt like Code Geass has been more of an ass pool sort of show compared to Death Note. It's a show that's cool when you're in middle school and like before you can think too hard about all the tricks, all the little writing tricks that are going on to like give everyone a pass, because then like things just kind of happen a little more conveniently. The rules are more better established, I think, in Death Note, at least early on,
Mhm.
and yeah. So I mean, honestly, I'm not too picky about it. I know you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. It was originally set out to be in the mind, but I think they
Yeah.
stopped caring after. What do you think, Ashanti?
So yeah, I like hearing that aspect of it and seeing how it differs from how it works in the show originally. I don't. I'm not really a big fan of that. I like how it's mind based and it doesn't affect like the plane of existence. It only affects like that person's mental state and how their brain works with that. That's like one of the key reasons why I actually like Gios.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's the power
I think
creep.
yeah. It's just I guess like in general, Geass, like its origins, although I can't remember the exact details, like the very nature of like having a Geass ability is like kind of like supernatural or at least definitely not normal in and of itself. So the idea that like
Right.
there are powers that can alter the world is more, it's just I guess like I wish maybe it got more incorporated into the main show. Like
Right.
but there's also so much more of the world we haven't seen. Like we have a very limited stage in Code Geass. Like there's a whole outer world to explore, and who knows like what kind of Geass abilities or shenanigans are going elsewhere. So like I understand it's not going to take away my enjoyment of the show too much. Like I still love it so much, but it is something I notice. I'm just kind of like, eh.
Honestly, the power creep was always going to happen, and it's very Dragon Ball. It's just anime in
Oh yeah.
general, right? So they just have to get stronger and more over the top. So I think Ashanti will kind of see that in the new movie. The new movie is like third act is all like
Yeah.
that basically. So
thing about Geass, um, while I'm watching it, half of the stuff I'm watching feels fresh because I mostly forgot a lot of like stuff between R1 and R2, and a lot of stuff in between episodes and big moments. So a lot of it is kind of fresh to me.
Mm-hmm.
It gets rolling with like 3 episodes in. I'm like, okay, so this is about to happen, or this will happen, I think, and I just see how it plays out and see if it refreshes anything. And a lot
Yeah.
of it is just very, like, for example, um, the whole drug thing about where they feeling nostalgic. I completely blocked that out of my memory until that episode happened. And another one is uh, one of the characters on the student council, her infatuation with one of the royals. I completely blocked that out
I can't
as
remember
well.
that either.
So
I don't think. I think what you're talking about wasn't infatuate. It was just Millie's whole plot, right? With them trying to marry her off, right?
Oh yeah.
no, not that.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Nina
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
and the
Take,
infamous table scene.
I gotta stick to a
yeah.
table because it's funny. Get it? Table scene. Get it?
I don't remember that scene originally. To be fair, I was watching this originally, like my first watch through.
Yeah, that's
I
something
was
I try to
watching it at
block out
like
of my mind too.
A lot of people
middle.
do. Probably that poor voice
There's
actress
it's
too.
fun. There's a reaction on YouTube. These guys are watching it and they're like, "What is she doing with the table? What's going on?"
Hmm.
They didn't even notice like or anything. Just like, what's going on with her?
And then
Don't
And
worry
wasn't
about
Poor
it.
realizing that.
Nonnally walks in.
What are you doing? What are you doing at the table?
It's November. What the hell? Yeah.
Nina,
I feel
we
like that's
eat
the.
there. Come on, stop doing that.
Oh gosh. There probably is
Why?
blues like that. I guarantee you the English dub voice actors definitely screwed around in that scene and said something like that. In Funimation's vaults, there's just like
Oh
Nina
yeah,
going
they
kind of like
have all
going
the
off.
tracks somewhere. Some intern will one day leak out the Code Geass outtakes. Oh boy. Well, I do have to
Yeah.
say, speaking of the
I think
voice.
that,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, okay. I won't interrupt you. I was just saying, I think that's like the equivalent to like Evangelion's like hospital scene, and like everyone who knows that scene like knows like what that's referring to. If you don't, just stay pure. But continue with what you were saying. Sorry, just had to throw that out there.
I was gonna say that speaking of the voice actors, actually, last year I actually interviewed Johnny Young Bosch for my YouTube channel, and he still sounds great in the role. I think it was right before we watched the movie that I was able to interview him. I
Mhm.
believe, or was it after? I think it was after, yeah, possibly. And then he came back, did a really good job on the role. He sounds a little older, but man, he's still excited to do the role. I think at least, which is really great. So
I also think like the older tone might like match with like Lelouch's part in the story.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to be vague, but like Lelouch as a character throughout Code Geass grows so much, so I think a little aging isn't the worst thing, but it is noticeable a little bit. But like you said, Johnny Bosch just like freaking kills it. I
his
love
voice
that
is
guy.
great. Yeah. What do you think of
I
the
got
So
Japanese?
I'm kind of
Well, what do you think about the Japanese voices watching it this time around, Ashanti?
I so for me, I'm a dub fan. I don't really get involved with the whole sub versus dub. There are animes that I prefer to watch subs.
Mhm.
So watching the subbed, like I immediately fell in love with like the entire cast and their performance. Nothing's really sticking out yet to me, other than C2's voice. But other than that, it's pretty good. Nothing that's sticking out to me. There's nothing that me think I love the sub more than the dub. I like it pretty equally. The only thing that I would say would be C2's voice and the
Mhm.
way she's performing. Certain.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of the subtitled, so I can't comment on it. And most of the ones I have is just like compilations of Lelouch's laugh, so I don't know the difference between C2's performance as well.
What are you talking about? The dub is better.
Great, let's start this debate. Let's do it.
No, kidding. Yeah, no, Takahiro Sakurai is Suzaku's really good, obviously. Jun Fukuyama, iconic. And then obviously they basically play well, I mean, Takahiro Sakurai does a different voice entirely for Cloud, but I just find it funny. So if you ever wanna have Lelouch versus Suzaku, just play Roy or Joker versus Cloud in the Japanese version of Smash and then you're set. So
There you go.
So I
alright.
got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Shoot.
What's the like from the story? What's your favorite like part of the story?
That's a tough one, honestly.
I guess one of my favorites that stick out, I mean, the ones I remember are the island. It's just like, getting the reverse character combination, forcing them to hang out was pretty interesting to me. And I very much enjoyed C2's pizza shenanigans during the school fair. I think those are some of my favorite moments. But yeah, I guess I don't really remember the fight sequences. I think it's just such a weird balance that they were able to like do like a normal teen show and then at the same time like do all this battle anime mecha stuff. So I think I like that stuff. It doesn't, a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I definitely still like season 1 better than season 2 overall though, just because there's more of that, and the logic to have an excuse for that is less flimsy in season 2. I mean, it's less flimsy in season 1, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah.
makes sense. For me, I guess I don't want to like get too into specifics. I know you've watched the show before, Shanti, but like since you're like rediscovering a lot of things, so I'll basically just say like the last 5 or 6 episodes of the show, like you get to a certain point in the story where they defeat like someone who you thought would be like end game threat, and then
Right.
it's just like yeah, but there's 5 or 6 more episodes, and those 5 or 6 episodes
I know.
take you on such. Oh, what was that?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and it takes you on such an emotional trip because like, where does it go from here? And it goes everywhere, and like putting like how like the power and like writing stuff gets a little wonky out there. I think character wise, like it all comes together like great. And like the last 2 episodes, there's like pure hype and tension, and of course, it
Yeah.
leads to one of my favorite endings like
Yeah.
ever. So I do really cherish like the last 5 or 6 episodes where you have to say now what, and then you just like go through a roller coaster.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching those episodes at like 10, 11 o'clock midnight to like 3 a.m. in the morning. So a lot of that I was okay. So now what? It's 3 o'clock. There's 6 episodes left. What do we got?
Yeah, exactly. What do you got for us, buddy? Yeah, I binged like the last 10 episodes like in one day before I had to work. And I think I like risked being late for work to watch the ending because I was like, there's no way I'm like going to work with like half of the last episode left. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Screw that. I was on time to work though because I can drive fast. Not that I don't speed that much, but that
Well,
day was worth it.
Sure, Noah. We're gonna we're gonna report you.
Listen, I may be a Sonic fan, but I only speed at 25 miles above the legal limit. I mean, come on.
Noah sus. I was
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think the true strength of the show is that regardless of its flaws, like, it really focuses on character, and then it does the emotional roller coaster really well. It hits those really like sweet moments with like undermines them really quickly with the dramatic tension, and that's I think like this is true of the film too. So when you watch that, I hope that it like for me, I hadn't watched something Code Geass in so long that really brought back a lot of like nostalgia for me, and they did a good job at least recreating that. So I hope that with whatever project they come out with next, they'll be able to do the same. What's your favorite moment,
Yeah.
Shanti?
So like right now, favorite moment is like the final scene of the entire well, not the final scene, but like the big climax of the final episode. That is like one of the things I've always remembered.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's definitely one. But like right now, it definitely has to be like the moment C2 and Lelouch get close together.
The ship sailing.
Which one? Describe
Yeah, right.
in explicit detail, please, for all the fan artists out there.
And read my fan fiction that I wrote.
Yes, please.
No. Okay, actually, yeah.
What do you have a particular moment in particular? Because I feel like especially in season 1, there's like a lot of moments like with their relationship. It's kind of like touch and go, or like they'll be closer for at a time. Then like some crazy ex or something along those lines comes back and like wants to do some stuff, and then they kind of like split apart. But like they always have like these really nice moments when like that little mini arc comes to a resolution. So is there any like particular moment, or just kind of like in general like their growing relationship?
Is it in C2 like falling in love with him like pedophilia or something like that? Technically.
Shh, don't ruin my ship with your common
Yeah,
sense.
it's pretty disgusting now that I think about it.
I mean, she's technically a god, and he's a king, technically. So
He's like an underage king though, so
On Witch and Warlock.
he's underage
but no, like
emperor.
a moment that solidified me was when what's his name comes back with the Geass to read the mind.
Mhm.
So like when he comes back and like you see how the direction of their relationship goes and Lelouch and Cece, I'm like, okay, that's definitely a key factor for me. And I was
Who
looking
did he
for
CC the email to though?
Wonderful. To his father. It's a hate-filled email.
Oh.
This is just going to turn into like meme and like hot takes of Code Geass. C2 can't be with Lelouch because
There's a
age
lot of
difference.
hot takes on the internet.
True, yeah. Just go on Twitter, you'll find out.
all right, I'm going to Twitter after this.
Anyways, I think that's the time we have. My computer is frying now because I had to record this. So,
Yeah, I think mine's actually. I'm using my laptop. I'm pretty sure it's probably overeaten.
any
But hey,
final thoughts that you'd like to share, Ashanti, on your podcast? Any announcements?
So yeah, guys, as you know, we're doing Nonstop November. It's been hectic for all three of us. We're almost through it. Nobody's missed a day yet. I've almost missed like
Well,
3
me and Noah
that I
did,
made up.
but you didn't hear anything.
Everybody's description in the card. If these guys have some awesome videos that I think they're awesome, I'm going to post them here. But you know, guys, tell us your favorite moments from Code Geass, and we'll see you on the next one.
I'll see you guys on the stream December 5th on my Twitch, and you guys will be joining me too. So, I'll see you then.
and I'll see you guys if you are foolish enough to make the mistake of watching my videos. Just kidding. It will
Buy
be
a
very
C2 body pillow.
I don't need to start a collection. Not yet.
And we're done.